Hey, wonderful people. This is Anna from Positive Empowerment 101, and I've got yet another amazing entrepreneur to talk to today. Now, Tobias Matthews joined SFM in September 2020. Is that right? Right about
Yeah,
then?
I think so. Or end of August, but pretty much
Yeah.
September. Yeah.
And he is here to tell us a little bit about himself, his journey so far, and how his online business, has like metamorphosized into something that I don't think you were even prepared for in the early
No,
stages.
not at
Um,
all.
So, yeah, I have the pleasure of introducing you to everyone. And Tobias is the most charismatic, inspirational, articulate, and sensitive guy I think I've ever met, especially in an
Oh,
online
thank you.
space. So we're just going to talk about your journey, where you've come from, how you discovered the SFM, and how it has changed over the course of the last 6 months or so. So I don't
Yeah.
know whether you just want to give a little bit of an intro about yourself.
Yeah, I'll fly in. So I mean, well, yeah, a bit of intro about me. So I'm 24. It's only 25 in a couple months. I work in account management I live in Leeds. If you know where that is, I have no idea. But yeah, basically, I kind of came to the SFM like I think a lot of people do, looking for a way to make money online. I was kind of like, stuck during COVID, had been going through a bit of sort of personal change, kind of brought about by the lockdown and by living alone. And like many people, I think, yeah, was like, do you know what? I want to make a bit more money. I want to sort my finances out, and started Googling ways to make money online, and came across this advert on YouTube, and something just said to watch it. I usually skip those ads, but I felt like watching it. And it was this guy, Mike Jack, I think he's one of the top affiliates, just talking really honestly about this you know mentor this community, and I kind of followed through and just kept listening to my gut and just saying, well, might as well go for this. And um did you want me to just fly into it? I kind of started off talking about myself, and
Yeah.
now I've just gone into it.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, keep
um
going. Go, go,
Oh,
go.
good stuff. Yeah, it's hard to shut me up when I get going. So yeah, I kind of then got into it, and obviously, it starts off. I think for me, it was like the three webinars, how to make your first 10K, and I was like, affiliate model, all of it. I'm in. I've kind of like had my eyes opened, I think, as many people do, to this
Mm-hmm.
world that you have no idea it really exists. Because I kind of thought beforehand, you kind of just always assume that all of these videos, all of these people talking about making money online are just kind of scams, or they're not really. Do you know what I mean? When you're on the outside looking in, it's really hard to understand. But as soon as Stuart kind of lays it all out, and you're like, oh, there actually is all of this way, and it seems like there's a kind of proper model for it. Yeah, I was kind of all in for that moment, and was just like, yeah, actually, I want to do this. I want to build a business. So let's go, kind of thing. Um, and then it's just been a ride from there. I mean, where are we at? 7, 8 months. So just started off, getting through the modules, trying to. For me, what really brought me into it, I think, was the fact that it was very value driven and focused on sort of personal growth as well. And I was kind of going through a bit of a personal growth, quite a big personal growth and spiritual journey. And it really complemented that well. And sort of module 2 in particular was all about slowing down and actually thinking about the big picture. And I think that's where a lot of people, you come to SFM for the how to make money online, and then you
Mm-hmm.
stay for the community, and you stay for the values, and you stay for the fact that you feel like you're a part of something bigger. And I really got that sense pretty early on that, oh, here's a company that's kind of aligned with my deeper purpose that I hadn't really had the confidence to talk about, which is to actually impact the world in a good way, which was really cool. So yeah, kind of just got through module 2 and started to get a bit more of an idea, about this sort of, as I say, going through a lot of spirituality and mental health type stuff, and was thinking, that's kind of what I'd like to bring to the table, but I want to, keep with the affiliate side, because that was all I really understood at that stage. But I think really it was actually through some of the groups in SFM, because there's so many different, as you know, so many different groups and sort of
Mm-hmm.
little communities that kind of form, who do different bits. Dan Holloway, obviously one of the top affiliates, his Facebook group, he advertised a business session. And this was, so actually I upgraded to elite as well, because I was like, I might as well go all in with this, and sort of really go for it. And it was a really good decision in the end, because that got me the introduction to Dan Holloway's group, which then introduced me to Frank, who was the Success Sessions coach. for Elite, and then he kind of split off and did his own coaching business, and I then had my eyes opened again to this whole other side of it, of actually, you know, I don't necessarily need to do the affiliate marketing. You know, that's kind of advertised as the best way to kind of earn while you learn, and it works for a lot of people. But if I felt that I was maybe a little bit further ahead, or just not further ahead, but just had a fairly developed kind of why or a purpose behind what I wanted to do already, so it made sense to kind of go directly for that. Started to look into setting up my own coaching business, basically, and trying to, you know, directly start bringing the value that I wanted to people. And that's kind of what I'm working on now, just building a presence and bringing value to, you know, actually getting myself out there, bringing value to people, and trying to build from there.
Yeah.
And I will just say as well that I think I still see the affiliate model as being something as part of my business as well, definitely, because I think there's real value in that. Yeah, just one part.
So circling back to when you came across the SFM, you were introduced to it by Mike Jacks, but you watched the 10K webinar. You didn't go through the workshops. You didn't discover the free workshops, or
it was the workshops. Yeah, I think I watched everything, to be fair. It was how to make your first 10K online, which I think is the workshops, isn't it?
Yeah. It's workshops, and then the how to make a 10K online is a webinar.
Is the webinar.
Yeah,
I watched both. Yeah, I watched it all. I watched it all.
You get caught up in it, don't you?
Yeah, I was like,
whoa. Get all excited, and
that's it.
I think that's when you know that, you know, this is the right path for you. You feel it internally. It's not just in your mind, it's in your gut, and you just go, you know, this is the right thing to do. I know for me as well, I was at the similar situation where I was always skipping these ads. These ads meant nothing to me. I was like, oh God, it's just a load of shit, basically. It's just another person trying to sell something. And it was just this one ad, and I was like, I'm going to watch this. And I was hooked literally from there. And I went through the process and followed it. Within the modules, because a lot of people get to module 1 and 2 and they don't actually see so much of the value in the mindset side of things. Like, can you just talk us through what you really got out of those module 1 and 2? Because a lot of people just want to skip forward and they just want to get to let's make a website, and the importance of actually taking your time over those modules.
Yeah, it's funny because in a way I've kind of been on module 2 for the last 8 months. I mean, I got through it and completed all the modules, but actually once I finished I didn't actually finish module 7. Once I finished module 6, I spent the last 3 months going back again and obviously working with the coach and doing the why in more detail. And, you know, that's been incredible. But yeah, I mean, originally I think it was because for me that so much of this was about the personal growth and about the self-development, and that's what really was lighting me up, was actually feeling like, yeah, actually crap, you know, day on day I'm getting better, I'm improving, I'm becoming, you know, stronger or whatever it is. I just, you know, that feeling of growing and being better than you were yesterday, for me that's kind of what really counts. And the message with module 2 is very deep. It goes a lot into, you know, some of the stuff I was looking at, finding out about the time, about spirituality, sort of law of attraction, and all these ideas, which are pretty, when you get into the self-development and the entrepreneur world, it's quite, you know, it's very well-known stuff and everybody knows about it. But actually, again, on the outside looking in, you're not that aware of it. And it's really it's really eye-opening. You know, it is kind of, in a way, especially if you're not done any of this stuff before. It's almost like having a spiritual awakening, having an awakening from kind of, you know, being like a victim and just kind of going through life with life happening to you, to realizing that you have the power to create life for yourself. And that's what I think they do really well in module 2, is kind of hammer that home, but then also get you to think about kind of what, you know, what your why is as well, so that it's bigger than just the money.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I think I must have spent about a month on module 2, maybe just a bit less. But
I think I skipped through them because it's a little bit crackly, but it's all right. We get the gist. Okay. I think with me, I was like that person who wanted to rush through, and I just wanted to do the website, and I just want to get moving. But I do actually myself need to go back over those modules and review them, and I kind of got to that point that I can do that. So I think it's module 4 where you start building your website. So did you build a website or?
I did, yeah. Module 4 was where I got stuck because I'm a big perfectionist, as a lot of people are, and was like, I want this to be perfect. I want this, and you have this idea in your head of how it's going to look, and you're going to have all these great things, and you realize, like, when you've got your eye on that big end picture, it's a long way off to get there, and it can be pretty overwhelming if you're constantly focusing on that and you're coming up against all this stuff you've got to do. And that's kind of where I got to at first, where I was trying to build this website and wanting to be excellent at website building and wanting it to be exactly how I pictured it, and just getting a bit frustrated. But I remember I think I just slowed down. Just kind of slowed down a little bit and tried to stop being such a perfectionist about it, and then really enjoyed it. I haven't actually finished my website because, again, my path changed a little bit, but the bones of it are there. And I found that's really interesting, because I think that's when it starts coming together a little bit in terms of what you're going to do, basically what your business idea is. You start actually kind of putting it onto a website, and you have your domain, and you're like, oh, this actually kind of feels real now. This is, yeah.
It's those small wins, isn't it? Like that first,
It is.
you choose a name and then you pay for a domain, and then wow, you've got a website, and this is incredible. And then you get so far, and then I don't know, with my website, I designed it and everything, and it's never quite what I want it to be. But launching it, I think, you can get that perfection paralysis, and you need to kind of just pop it out there, because you can always go back and edit it and change it and reformat it and play around with it as time goes on.
That's it.
So where are you marketing?
So I'm organic marketing on social media, primarily Instagram. I've just started on TikTok, did my first TikTok video today, which was a blooper video from a video I'd filmed earlier. Just being quite honest. I mean, I've been doing a bit on Facebook as well. I think that's probably one of the main things I learned actually when I went elite, and the first time I trained with Frank, who was the elite coaches within SFM, and I was in my head, I knew I had all this stuff that I could get out there, but I had this idea that I can't do anything, I can't impact people until I've got this business, or this kind of idea that I think society kind of places in us today, that you need to be an expert in order to add value. But so much of what SFM was teaching was, no, you don't. You just need to be one step ahead of where other people are, and you can get out there right away and start adding value. And then it was overcoming the fear of actually getting on social media, because I had a big fear of what other people think, and big fear of my friends and all of that. And it was just, I think someone said that, it was Frank actually, it was like, in a way that's kind of your ego, or you're a bit selfish to do that, because you're worrying about what everyone else thinks, when actually you're depriving people who can really benefit from what what perspective you've already got, and you only need to be one step ahead of them to offer that. So then I just started getting out, posting some things on Facebook about kind of my journey with mental health and everything this year, and just bit by bit grew in confidence. And obviously was doing the 90-day video journey as well, where we met, and that was instrumental, in really finding my voice and gaining that confidence. I think that is the most life-changing thing I've done, actually.
It's
the video journey.
For anyone who doesn't know what that is, you've got to search it out on Facebook. It's open to SFM members, and you do 90 videos in 90 days. Not many people do it in the 90 days, but it's totally your journey. I don't know how long it take you, do you know?
157.
I lost count. I think I did over 90 in the end, because I never kept this. I never knew where I was at. But it's an incredible way, one, to meet people, because I was at a point where you've done all this training in the modules, but you're very much on your own, and then you put yourself out into a community, and people see your face, and they see your personality, and people start aligning themselves with you, people that you kind of you feel connected with. So it's powerful for that, and it's powerful for that learning curve about putting yourself out there, finding your voice. It's very uncomfortable and very awkward in the beginnings, isn't it? And then you just go with it, and it is so rewarding. So 100% recommend anyone to do that.
Really is. I mean, that's what got me to where I am today, being able to be out there. So I think we've got a bit of lag. You're going slow on my screen, but I think it's probably my internet. You back?
I'm back. Could be mine too.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are there. Okay,
I'm
cool.
here. I can cut that bit out, or I'll leave it in. Who cares?
Cool. I think there's definitely a delay. There's definitely like a 5-second delay, but we'll battle through it.
Okay. Okay, I'll let you do a little bit more talking and stuff. Just want to talk about Tony Robbins, Eckhart Tolle, Wim Hof, and Calm. They're the four. I know they're four areas that you've gone and done some training with Tony Robbins. You're very much an advocate for Wim Hof, the breathing exercise, I think it is, and meditation, and yeah, etc. So I'd love you to just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, okay, sure. No, that's cool. So okay, so I guess I'll start with Calm. Calm's obviously a meditation app, and my journey with meditation and spirituality actually began probably a couple of years ago. My girlfriend at the time was getting into it for her anxiety, and I was sort of doing a little bit, a bit here and there, and thought it was really nice and relaxing, and then started sort of picking it up full time because I'd heard, so many of the benefits of it. In about February last year, and that sort of helped me then going into lockdown and as I say, sort of living alone. But I still wasn't very aware of sort of spirituality or the actual kind of the sort of theory and the idea behind it. I was still kind of just living my life on autopilot almost, just kind of drifting through the motions. And I really struggled with anxiety and depression and just my mental health in general during the first lockdown. I was drinking a lot. I was eating, just not really doing any exercise, not looking after myself, and was in a pretty rough place. And then I came across and was kind of meditating throughout, but I wasn't really doing it properly. And then I came across Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, which is actually one of the books put as the core reading in module 2. Funny enough, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. And that completely changed my life overnight, because it told me for the first time, this concept that I'm not my mind, that I'm not my thoughts, that all of this stuff I was getting caught up in my head, all of these sort of problems and sort of trying to think them through, which were making me more and more sort of anxious or more and more depressed. You don't have to identify with them. It's just kind of like subconscious thought patterns that aren't actually you, and that you're this consciousness underneath, the witness, as the Buddhists call it. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So that was kind of like my spiritual awakening moment, if you like. And it's funny, it's a word that I think carries a lot of weight with it today. But I think it's just literally just the understanding that we're not our minds and thoughts. So that was a big moment, and that kind of really transformed my mental health and my sort of well-being last year, and then put me on the journey towards SFM. And just more and more started to invest in my growth, and started to switch from that idea that like life happens to me and that I'm just kind of here a victim experiencing all these things, to actually I'm in control, and I actually can dictate what happens, how I feel, all of this stuff. So started looking more into personal growth, found SFM, and then my friend mentioned Wim Hof to me. So if you don't know, he's very famous now. He's I think he's Dutch. Yeah, I think he's Dutch. And his wife died, and he killed herself years ago, and he was battling with depression, and came across these old sort of yogic breathing exercises, and sort of ice baths or jumping in cold showers. And the combination of those, it calls it the Wim Hof Method, that you do every morning, sort of 10 minutes breathing exercise and a cold shower, really sorts out your body, changes your sort of physiology, makes your body more alkaline, and loads of health benefits, but generally just makes you feel, a lot better. And the first time I did that, I came out of the shower and I was like, this is absolute gold. It was like the strongest coffee I'd ever had, and I felt energized all day. So yeah, a huge advocate for that. I do Wim Hof first thing when I wake up. I wake up at 5 now every morning, and I'm
You're
always
the 5 a.m. club.
I'm a 5, yeah. Well, at 5 till 5:30, I kind of have
a
sleeping alarm that and I love the early mornings. But I'm usually tired when I wake up. But literally one round of breathing exercises, and I feel great. And then the cold shower as well. Yeah, it's really transformative. So What was there anything? Tony
Oh yeah,
Robbins.
Tony
Tony
Robbins, because
Robbins.
you joined, did the free. He put out an ad on Facebook, and it
Mm,
was a 3 or 4 day course.
five
But I
five
was a
day.
5.
Mm,
I registered for it, but never got round to actually doing it.
mm,
But I know that you were into it, and
yeah,
you got a lot of benefit out of that as well.
yeah, really did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So obviously he's biggest. He must be the biggest life coach in the world.
Probably.
And like you say, I think someone in one of the other sort of little accountability groups I'm part of within SFM mentioned it, and I thought, well, yeah, it's free for 5 days. I can't be rude not to do it, really. And was just kind of watching it on the replays each morning. And he really went through a lot of stuff, but I mean, even touching on like relationships, and I'd kind of just had a relationship that had just broken down. So that was like a big moment, and yeah, just generally just personal growth and personal development stuff, about mindset and identity, I think was the big one. That's probably the biggest message I'd give is from this and from the journey in general, is this idea that we think we need to achieve something on the outside, and because we think it's going to bring us happiness, generally is kind of the end goal. But then Tony says that like what actually makes us happy when we achieve something is the person that we become in order to achieve it, and that we need to become this person in order to get it anyway. So actually, instead of focusing on the thing, focus on the identity, focus on changing your identity and becoming, the person that you want to be. Which is huge, because I think, again, growing up, I always just had this idea that I am who I am. My personality is my personality, my flaws are my flaws, and that's just it, kind of thing. But all of these things are just subconscious processes, and because we are identified with that identity, that's why we keep acting the same way. But this Tony Robbins thing, and is this idea that, yeah, you can change yourself now, and sort of do the work to change it. And I was like, whoa, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm different, and yeah, bit by bit you kind of get there. I mean,
Yeah.
even 3 months ago, thinking of me being on social media doing vlogs and stuff like that I'd have laughed at you. But here I am on TikTok.
TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. That's right, isn't
Yeah,
it? Not
that's
YouTube
the
yet.
not no. I've got one YouTube video up, but I'd want to do it properly, and I
Yeah.
just don't really have the time to do it currently. So yeah, not yet,
Yeah.
but one day.
To be confirmed one day. Also, you're doing
Yeah,
on Facebook Live, you're doing every other day, you're doing a little meditation session on, I'm going to get this right, gratitude, inspiration, and happiness group. Now, it's a private closed group. I will put the link in below. But yeah, Toby is doing every other day just these short meditation segments, aren't you? And I just want to know how you're finding it, because you hadn't done this before, had you? You hadn't put this into practice, doing meditation for other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So how have you found that, and how have you got through your fears of it?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't have, again, because I think of how far I'd come in general with this stuff, and I knew a lot of you in the group, I didn't really have that many fears about it. But it's funny, you asking me all these questions, making me, and I'm actually realizing that I haven't been taking the time to reflect, because that's a big thing we need to do on this journey, is reflect on how far we've come already. And I've not been doing that. And just thinking back, I'm like, whoa, actually, I've really come quite a long way. There's a lot of stuff there that I've forgotten that I've done, that now you do it, and it just becomes a part of who you are, and you kind of take it for granted. And it's almost now the same with the meditations. I think I've done about 5 now. But I always had this idea in my head that I'd like to do this. I'd like to be a meditation teacher, or I'd like to have that as sort of part of my repertoire. And yeah, just kind of, as you learn to start doing, when you get a bit into this journey, any opportunity that comes your way, you kind of just jump at it. And Susan was saying she wanted someone to lead meditations, so yeah, I jumped to that opportunity, and kind of I felt kind of slightly fumbled my way through the first one. I mean, just when you meditate, I mean, I meditate generally for about an hour and a half a day, pretty much every day for a year. So I'd get an idea for how they kind of work. So you can kind of blag your way through it. And now I'm really feeling that as like an extra, just another avenue to grow and learn and express myself, express things that I think are important to me. And that's been really, really cool, actually, seeing actually seeing people that haven't meditated before, and say that they can't or don't meditate. actually, I think seeing that they've found some value from that and being able to kind of start, that's been really, really cool.
Yeah. It is incredible. I think Susan was saying like she can't meditate and she just wanted a small bite. So we started with a minute, didn't we? Minute meditation, and then
I
it's
tried
just
to. I don't think it was a minute.
Yeah. It's like Susan said, I'm going to do a 5-minute call.
Yeah.
It never happens.
Never
But just
happens.
it's just a short snippet, like just not to take, because a lot of people think before they've gone into meditation and understand it, that it's a waste of time. I'm just sitting there, I'm doing nothing, but there's so much more to it. There is so much to it.
Yeah, all they think, the idea is here is to shut my mind up or have
Yeah.
this particular outcome. But as I said in my first one, it's like exercise. It's the same way there's a million ways to exercise the body. There's a million ways to exercise the mind as well. So
Yeah, and I think today you touched on visualization. So I just wanted to ask you, when you visualize your future, what do you see?
So I'll tell you my main goal, and I did this in the ideal day, is one day having a self-sustainable home somewhere in the countryside with a beautiful wife and a dog, maybe kids, but that's kind of what I have in my mind, where I'm just completely free to do my job, do my job, do my business, maybe traveling the world and speaking. I'd quite like to do speaking engagements, but certainly coaching and just running a business, and having a really peaceful lifestyle that hopefully is good for the planet as well. That's the aim. But I tend to visualize a bit more short term, to be fair, and try and sort of think about things a few months out, things that I'm trying to create in the meantime. But it's a good reminder that that's my end goal as well.
Yeah, I think visualizations are so important. And a lot of people, before they go into this, everyone thinks anyone who does an online business wants to drive a Ferrari and wants to have a big house, but it's so not true. A lot of people who get into starting their own business online, they want that freedom, and they want to be doing something they enjoy and something that's aligned with them. And I think what you're doing is amazing. So I think we're near enough wrapping up. Now, there is one question I want to ask you, and it's one I'd like to finish on. It's very hard hitting. If you can pick 5 people, dead or alive, to have at a dinner party, who would they be and why?
Big question.
Yeah.
Napoleon, because I was a big history nerd and I did history at university. I always found him a fascinating person. Eckhart Tolle, I think I'd have to pick him. Michael A. Singer, who's probably the author of 2 of the most powerful spiritual books I think you can read, the Surrender Experiment and the Untethered Soul. The Untethered Soul is kind of, it touches on what a lot of the Power of Now does, but in even way more simpler terms actually to understand, way more sort of approachable. So I think probably Michael A. Singer. I'm trying to think who must have other. Heath Ledger. I've always had a hot spot for Heath Ledger.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. And I felt gutted when he died.
Yeah.
One more.
They don't have to be famous. They could be. No. It could be someone close to you, someone inspirational to you.
Oh, my grandpa. Why not? Yeah. I was very close with him, and he died when I was about must have been about 8 or 9. That'd be good to see him again at this age.
Imagine that table. Really imagine that dinner party. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be good fun.
Yeah,
some wisdom.
Probably too
I feel
much
bad because it was all men. It was all men, and I do feel like I'd like to get some women in there, but it's too late now.
Maybe they can bring their partners.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time and talking to me today. It's been awesome. It's been really good.
My pleasure.
I'm going to add your TikTok link below, your Facebook link and your Instagram link. So if anyone wants to check out Tobias, you can go and find out where he is and follow him. And I think he'd really appreciate that. And I think you would get a lot out of it too.
Yeah, feel free to message me as well. I'm if you want another opinion outside of Anna, I'm always happy to talk as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
Thank you. I've enjoyed this. It's been great. It got me thinking about some things as well.
Yeah.
First port of call, am I sexist?
No, not at all. Right, I'm going to stop recording.
Yeah, do.